It's been about 8 days, and what I want to do is test the ending gravity of the beer. This is the small beer. It started out at 1.051, which is a decent gravity for a second running beer. Okay, let me put this over here so I don't contaminate it. Alright, and here's my what they call a wine thief, for lack of a better term. So I'm just going to extract some beer here, and I'm never really good at this. I think my thumb has a leak in it or something. But to get just enough beer to check the gravity and also to taste it, to see if it's contaminated or you know, if it kind of hit the hop rating I was shooting for. I'm thinking that's about right. Okay, I'm just going to leave that in there to keep it sanitary. And then I take the hydrometer. You got that? Okay, I want to drop that in here. Remember, so 1.051. If I get to 1.008 or between 0.08 and 112, I'll be happy as a lark. Been fermenting for, let's go ahead and drop it down. Okay, so what we measured out is 1.014, which is decent. I mean, it's only been in the primary for about 8 days, so we'll probably go down a little bit more. So I'm happy with that. Means the yeast did a great job. I want to taste it here in a little bit. But first, I'm going to taste how the big boy did. That's what I'm worried about. Okay, and it came in at 1.115, which if you're not a home brewer, you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? But if you're a home brewer, you're thinking, wow, 1.115. Remember, this is first runnings, so it's not like I did anything special. Okay, so let me put this cork over here, keep it sanitary, and let's get the old wine thief out again, and let's check the big boy out. If it gets down below 1.030, I'm happy. Okay. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll stick the hydrometer into here and measure it. Okay, what happened with the small beer? It turned out to be about 4%, but it could still go down a little bit. The big beer was about 8.9%, but it could go down a little bit. I could add some Beano to drop them down a little bit more. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that anymore. I'm going to taste them right now. Here's a small beer. See how it tastes. See if it is contaminated or anything. It smells okay.
Enjoy.
Okay. That tastes alright. Okay, let me taste the big beer. This is really hoppy, this small beer. Yeah, the barley wine definitely has a kick to it, big time. It could use some aging, but it's not contaminated or anything, even though it had the not a boil over, but the carbonation over, I guess you'd call it, at the very beginning. We're finally at the point where we're going to take the fermented beer and transfer it over to a keg. As you can see down here at the bottom here, that's a it's an old Pepsi syrup cylinder. Holds exactly 5 gallons. Here's my siphon tube here. It's about perfect. And a friend of mine showed me, the siphoning part sometimes is kind of a pain, but a friend of mine showed me a pretty cool way to siphon. It's So I just press this plastic container here. Happens to fit right there at the tube, on the inner side of the tube. It takes a couple tries. Here it goes. There's all different kinds of ways to get a siphon going. This is one way. The way I used to do it is you take and fill that entire tube up as much as possible, at least over 50% with just water, and then the water will, carry it down to get your nice little suction there. Also, another thing I did, have a carbon dioxide cylinder here. I also took it and attached it to the keg and gave it a good old zap to get carbon dioxide in here. And so what that means is that carbon dioxide, really nothing can live in carbon dioxide. Everything likes oxygen. The carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. So there's like a nice little layer of carbon dioxide inside the keg to help prevent oxygenation during the transfer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the beer over here, and then this is the big beer. I'm doing it first. And then I'm also going to do the small beer, and what you'll see next is just a little sampling to see how it tastes, and it'll be uncarbonated. But it's funny, when you make something your own, you don't really care if it's carbonated or not, and usually it tastes better to you than anybody else. All right, we're finally on the final phase of the home brewing. This is my favorite part. That's what keeps you going to the next home brew. We have 2 glasses. The big glass represents the big beer, and the small glass represents the small beer. I'll kind of hold them together, and I can tell that the one on the right, or my right, your left, is the small beer. It's a little lighter in color. And the big beer is a little darker, which makes sense. It has a lot more malt in it. So let me taste them. I can tell it's lighter. It definitely has a hop presence to it. Kind of a grapefruit taste, which is common with Columbus type hops. It has Columbus and Amarillo hops in it. And then for the big beer, and this turned out to be 4.5%, and then this was just over 9% after it fermented out a little bit more. I'll try this one here. This is the barley wine style. I guess I would call this a pale ale. Yeah, definitely richer in flavor, very malty, but also has a pretty good hop kick. Not as much as this one here. But that's pretty much it. You've gone through the whole process. This is advanced brewing. If you want to get into home brewing, you really don't have to get all the trouble that I went through. But I enjoy it, and it kind of evolved into this all-grain brewing setup and the contraption with all the valves and everything. This thing went on. I've been brewing since the mid-'80s, so it's been over 20 years, and so I've evolved from the stovetop to all these valves and stuff, and crushing the grains and everything. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get into home brewing, and all I can say now is cheers.